Good afternoon, YouTube and the internets. I'm doing the intro after doing the whole job because I'm going to show you doing the front lowering springs first because they went real smooth and nice like. Then if you want to see me doing the rear ones, which were a shit fight, which is mostly my own doing, not entirely though, then you can watch the whole thing and skip to near the end to see the end result, which looks like this. So now you don't have to skip to the end to see it. So now let's get on to the rears, fronts instead of the rears, because I did the rears first. I'm going to show you the fronts. Okay, onto the fronts. Much simpler. 2 bolts, 1 brake line. That's it. No sway bars and a lot more room, and hopefully, son of a bitch, I've got to break this line as well to get it off the strut. What a bastard! Do I bend it out of the way? I need to undo it up here, I think, and pull it all the way through. So I don't know if that banjo bolt will fit through that thing. Friggin' hell, Toyota, what were you thinking? Probably thinking no one would be putting lowering springs on a shitty AE92. That's probably what they were thinking. Someone would want to change the struts at some point though. Alright, let me have a think about that. And have a look see and see what's the easiest way about it. So, the only way, well the way I was about to do it was to clamp it off back there, undo the banjo, slip it back through the hole. But I thought, because this is split, I'd see how hard that was and how much chance there was of busting it. And not very hard, pretty low chance of busting it. I just got to slip this through. So just bending the clip out of the way. The back one definitely does not have a split in it like this. So this was not an option. Voila. And then we'll put it back in and straighten it back up when I'm done. So let's get these loose and then we'll get the strut tops loose. So these are 19s. Oh, that's tight. Am I going the right way? Yeah. Okay. Moved. Yep, it's much easier that way. Now that one's loose, that one's not quite as loose as I'd like it. Oh, that's no good. There we go, loose. Let's get the strut top. We can pop this out, put the lowering spring on. So again, like the front, just loosen these off. Don't take them off, so as it will be suspended by them, and then we'll take them off last. When we put it in, we'll put them on first, nice and loose. One, two. That was easy. Why is it so easy? Where's it going to trap me? What's it going to do to mess with me? Nope, nothing. It's not going to trap me at all. So just holding the strut up, undo these top ones, and out she comes. Voila. We'll get the compressors on it and see what we get out of it. But unlike the other ones, I'm not going to over compress it and have the strut go down. So yeah, that's packed with grease. Looks pretty clean and healthy too. Anyway, let's get the other side off and whack these new springs on it and see what the finished product looks like. So unlike the rears where I over compressed the springs and made life really hard for myself, once you get the spring compressors on, just need to get it far enough stay on there. To relieve a little bit of pressure. Come on, come off. Any play there yet? Nope. Keep going. Sort of got to use a universal on this side because of where the end is. Okay, that's enough. Just as I thought. More than enough compression on it. Oh, bump stop's a bit chewed out. Okay, where's one of the new ones?
Jesus Christ.
Oh dear.
This is going to be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, scraping is not a problem, is it? It all depends on how much compressors to. I don't think I'm going to need the compressors to put it on. Nope.
Do you think that might actually be a problem?
Should be right.
It's going to be a low is, bro.
Hey?
Low is.
At least it's not chopped. Yeah. Let's just say out. Okay, so this is pointing the outside of the car. I think that's what it means. Be that way. Would that be right?
Yeah.
So 180 apart, there's a mark on this top. There's not a lot to get on there, but if I can just compress it a little bit. Just a socket. Oh yeah, she's on. Railgun time. Oh, we've cooked it again.
Have we?
It's hard work on the old cordless railgun. Grab the other skin. Done. And done. Ready to go on the car. Does need new bump stops. Probably needs new shocks. But it's going on as it is. Pointing at my nuts.
Sorry.
Almost done. One more squirt, that should be enough. It is entirely possible, but unlikely, that the springs are unloaded at any time. Bring!
Fire away.
Hey?
Said fire away.
Take my foot off. Safe as pro. Oh yeah, it's just in there. Pop that off. little bit of load on it, not a lot. They are loaded. That's about the minimum amount of spring compression you want to put on these particular ones. Lovely. Since when does this turn into a drill?
That bomb stop is disintegrating itself.
Hmm?
That thing is disintegrating itself.
Hmm. This whole shaft is spinning. There's no rattle action.
It is all spinning.
There's no rattle. And the rattle gun.
That's what rattle is good.
Rattle free. Go get the other one.
That's right.
Ah, I think it's still hot.
Does it work?
That's got some rattle in it. God damn it. Where's the other one? This one will rattle. Job done. So unlike the rears, we've got a free spinning top here. So what we're going to do is chuck her up, and then one end, and I'll twist and move and go wherever you need it to. Got the bottom end far enough, and then you just chuck a couple of nuts on. Like that. Everything's nice and easy, hanging off its arms. Now, the bolts went front to back, didn't they?
Yep.
One like that. One like that. So, we'll pop this back in. Make sure we've got that on the right side of the thing. We wouldn't want to put this in over here and then we can't put the clip on. Chuck her in there and then gently persuade it to go back where it was. Which is assume how they did this from factory. Use the metalwork equals straight bit of metal. And I bet this even works. Is that in? Yep. Clip was coming from there, wasn't it? Hammer? No hammer? Where was the hammer? Everything's a hammer if you're brave enough. Lovely. Clip on. Not this side? Yep. So again, got the jack under here. Push this in as far as I can to invite as much natural camber as I can get. Ow! Almost certainly will require some camber bolts at the front. Although being lower, we'll just give it a camber naturally. So we'll see. Is that whole thing turning?
Have a look. No.
We'll see how we go. There we go, should get some tension on it. Oh, you son of a bitch. I was expecting that to be tight. And that is this side done. Just need to pop the jack out of the way. We don't need to bleed the brakes. This wheel can go back on and we can set it down and see what it's like. So we're not done. We had to do the top up. While the jack's still under there. So these shouldn't need too much torque again. Lovely. Good to go. Okay, moment of truth. Way smaller gap. That looks so much nicer than before. It's not extremely low. It's not stupid. It's not stanced. But just reset those wheel arch gaps perfectly. Good afternoon, YouTube and the internet. Well, today after rolling the guards, I am ready to install the lowering springs on the old AE92. I nearly said 82 there because I was thinking 86. These are standard low, which will drop at about 30 mil. So you got to get inside the car, in the back here, behind these seat belts. It's got 2 screws. These have to come out. With those 2 screws out, this panel should just come away. There we go. And that should expose the top of the tower just here, the 3 bolts. So we just need access to that to drop this out. Same on the other side. And then just loosen that, undo the bottom, and I'll show you how to do that. And pull the whole shock absorber out. Okay, with it jacked up now on axle stands. Take this wheel off and have a look. So connected to the strut we have the tie rod end at the top here. We also have the brake line clip to it, and obviously the 2 bolts at the bottom down here. So before we try and undo everything, we're simply going to crack everything, make sure that we can get everything undone, and I'll do the same on the other side. And then yeah, then we'll pop these out because I see no problem with getting these undone. Now that I've got some WD in the shed, I'm going to give these all a good soak. Let take off the other side and then come back to it. Okay, after a bit of a break, some rehydrating, that's spinning, that's fine, that's how they work. I'm back out here. This has had a good soak. Let's take the strut out and we should be good to go. Crack all these, get this clip out. You dickheads, Toyota. So, here's the first problem. There's no slot in that bracket. That actually runs through it. So, I actually have to break the line to disconnect it from the strut. That's retarded. I mean, that's a really poor design. Usually these have just got a slot in them where you can slide it out and get it free, but not this one. Because why would it be easy? Everything I've done today has been really hard. Sometimes my own fault. In this case, not so much. Well, I guess I'll be undoing the brake lines too. Good morning, YouTube and the internet. This may look like I'm carrying on, but it's actually a week later. I cracked the shits with the job because of a couple of reasons. I stripped a wheel nut, had to go away, come back. I'm not going to show you all that because the video would just be too long. But basically I got the shits when I found out there was no slot in this brake line thing. I've actually got to break the brake line, and then at that time of the day when I was working on this, I figured by the time I do that, and then probably have to do the same on the front, and then bleed it by myself, it would be night time, I'd be cranky, I'd probably do something half-assed, so I stopped, put the car back together, drove for a week, and now I'm back. But now I've got help. Slave Child 1 is back home and giving me a hand, so we're pretty much back to where we were. Everything's been cracked, but I've got to get this brake line off now. So I'm about to attempt to crack the brake line to free it from the strut using an open-ended spanner instead of using the proper ones that wrap around, the flared ones that go over the line. I've never had a set. I did go to buy a set yesterday, but they weren't in stock where I went, so I did just do the other side. I did round the nut, and then I did have to do the devil's work as far as how I got it off, but I did get it off. So if this fails, I'm not going to show you how I got it off because I don't want to encourage that sort of behaviour. So, Slave Child 1 holding that. I'm going to strike this with a hammer, so the shock load is going to help. Now you've got hold of that properly, hard.
Yep.
Is it moving, or is it just rounding? So it's just rounding. Yep. Try again. The idea of the hammer is to get a bit of shock load in it. It's either going to round it or it's not. I don't know if that just went all the way around or if it just undid a bit. Is it undoing? I don't believe it will be undoing. No, it's not undoing. Okay. So, I'm not going to show you how I get this off. I will get it off. Use the right tool. You won't have this problem. So now I've cracked it. I can use the spinner. It's not round. I'm not going to tell you how I did it because you shouldn't do it that way. Those of you who have done this before will probably know exactly how I did it. I recommend buying the correct tool for the job, and 90% chance you'd still not be able to undo these. They're that old. I am considering maybe replacing this whole section with a braided line. That is not today. That is another day. There's a lot of brake performance upgrade I could do on this thing, including the shoes, and hell, I could even put a fucking disc brake set on the back. Just put a rear hub from an 86, I think, fits straight on. But for now, let's just get these springs in, get it low, ready for a KFC car park. A bit of hard parking. So once we got, oh, that's free enough. Oh, where's my vice grips? Not vice grips. These will do. So now I just pull the clip off. Motor grips are better for this. There it goes. Voila. Down and out of the way. Find somewhere to shove it where it's not going to drip. And we're now free with the brake line and ready to proceed. So to undo these, you need an Allen key to hold the centre shaft still. If you've got an open-ended spinner, you can use that, but ratcheting ring spinners are the way of the future. Now this one's a bit rusty and a bit hard. Lovely. And it should just slip out, like so. We'll pop our nut back on so we don't lose it. Next we will undo these. main bolts, and then it should just be the three at the top suspending it in place. Anytime you're ever going to hit a bolt with a hammer, leave the nut on so you don't damage the thread. And we'll just wind these out on the thread because the load they've got on them. Voila. So now we need to undo the top, pull it out. Need to undo the strut, top, nice and evenly so we don't overload a bolt and nut, make it harder than it could be. So that's our strut top free. Get down the bottom, pull it out. So we just pull it down, free it from the strut top. The jiggle. Straight out. Ready for a lowering spring. So because I don't feel like dying today, we'll be using proper spring compressors to do this. I cannot recommend enough not killing yourself or losing half of your face trying to lower your car. These things let go, not all of them, some of them can be quite loose, but they can be fairly explosive with a lot of force on them. So it needs that other spring compressor there. Yeah. Set them up 180 degrees apart. I can't get to that top one, let's get into that one. Those two there. Lovely. Top one. There we go. We want to do them up nice and even. So we're now free. We've got slack. Time to undo the top nut and put our lowering spring on. Okay, now we're nice and loose. Rattle gun. Job done. Bit of spacer. Some description. The hat itself should just come away if it wasn't jammed by the nuts, the sockets. So now we've got to unsprung that one. Chuck us one of the lowering springs. That just pops over there. And once we get the hat off, but that's about, with that fully sprung, that's about the same length. Okay, now freed the hat and boot. Make sure this coil sits in that little rubbery thing, that sort of aligned stuff. Don't ask me how or why. And so in here we've got a specific point this should be sitting at. I don't see it. Yes I do, right there. Like that. Lovely. So that's definitely not going to go straight on. I can get it in. Oh, there's a flat side on this, so that'll tell me the alignment for the shaft. Flat side, flat side. Lovely. That should work. So, unfortunately, you have to scratch a shiny yellow king springs. Just need to compress it a little bit. Not a heap. To get this over the shaft. So in the last bit of footage you would have seen me buggerising around trying to compress the hell out of this spring to get it on this shaft. Now I've already done one. This is the second one. If we look here, I don't need to compress the spring pretty much at all to get this on. Get on there. Well, that's going to be a demonstration of what I was about to show you. when I compressed the spring on the other one, I pushed this down because I over compressed it. Right? So we had to compress the spring enough to get it. We should have been able to pull this up to the height that it was. I realised that far too late, and that's not what should happen. This should push out by itself. So these are obviously a bit old and buggered and really need replacing. I'm not going to do that today. I am just going to fit these. But yeah, I basically don't need to compress this at all. I can just fit that on there, and there's a flat side on this. If we line them up like so, put the spacer on, that came off it, chuck that on there. Just rattle it off. Job done. So yeah, I just wasted an hour and a half on the first one because I didn't realise that the shaft on the shocky hadn't rebounded like it should, and I also hurt myself really badly and busted a finger buggerising around with compressors and high compressions and rattle guns with universals on them all at the same time. My finger ended up somewhere where it shouldn't while I was pulling a rattle gun trigger, and it felt like I broke it, but I don't think I have because I can still bend it. It did punch a hole in my skin, so I didn't stab myself on anything. It just grabbed so hard, or hit whatever it was. Still not sure. It managed to just puncture me with blunt force. Anyway, that's the rear two done. It took me an hour and a half on the first one, 30 seconds on the second one. Alright, now that I've got my busted finger and my lowered one that I spent 2 hours on, I shouldn't have. Before we go shoving this up in there, I've oriented these 3 bolts something like the hat in there. It's not perfect, but it's pretty close, so we don't have to wrestle with it too much when it's in there. And we need to put them in first, so let's get her up there, somewhere near it. Well, there we go. I've got one bolt in a hole. Just going to get a nut. All 3. One, two. There we go. Get these on loosely. That one doesn't seem to want to go on, does it? There we go. With that loosely in its right place. Get that. Come on, get around there. Yep. Voila. The astute of you will realise I'm on the other side of the car. Camera ran flat. Just get a pry bar under here. Makes life a lot easier. And we can pull the strut forward. Line the hole up. It'll go straight in. It'll go straight in. Like that. And then your top one. Should be able to just push the hub in. Yeah, like that. And then, yeah, just start doing shit back up. So just like when I undo everything, I just like to get everything loosely fitted before I start tightening everything up. Clip. faster to get lined up. I did give the threads a bit of a clean up to try and help. I've de-rounded some of the sides on this using my magical method. Should be enough to do it up once. Maybe. Lovely. So brake line's done up. Before we put the wheel on, after we tighten everything else up, we do have to bleed the brakes. Lovely. It reminds me I better do the top now. These don't get done up too tight. They weren't very tight to start with. Again, like everything, there's a torque number for them. I don't know what it is. If you want to go and find it, you should definitely do that. Can't get on this bastard. Too tight for finger tight, too loose for ratchet. And like always, do them up evenly across all three. Voila. So in a vain attempt to try and get as much camber as I can in for practical purposes for clearing, not for hell of dance life. Got the jack under there, and I'm going to push in at the bottom as best I can. What I really need, we should have is camber bolts. Don't have any. But I'll get some if I need some. We'll see how it goes. Stop doing this blind. Okay, so now we're ready for a brake bleed. Pop the wheels back on, drop it, see what it looks like.